Guys, good day and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing good. So sorry. So today we'll be making this ruched skirt with a side ruffle. It has a drawstring. I've been getting comment for me to recreate that dress. So it has a shape. I'm not going to be making the shirt. I'll make a slanted shoulder top. That is what I'm going to be pairing with this skirt. But the thing is that I wanted to make it with this fabric, but I later had to switch to another fabric because it was not enough for the top, so I had to like use another fabric for this. I used 4 years of chiffon. I used chiffon to recreate this, so I'll just show you how I did this, like the cutting part, the first step, because I later switched to another fabric, another chiffon. So what you need to do now is to get your length. You place your fabric on fold. Please, you get your waist. For you to know the amount of fold, you get your hip measurement, then you add extra 10 inches. I added extra 10 inches to my this thing because of the side ruffle. So once you have that, then you place your tape off your band. I removed 2 inches for my band. Then I removed 2 inches from my band. I got my skirt. Normally my skirt length is 17, but I had to use, you have to add extra allowance again, because once you draw it, it will become shorter. So I got my this in my length. There is no need getting your length. So I got my length. I added extra 20 inches again. Extra 20, I added extra 30 to 40 inches sef because I made it longer. So I used a total of 54 inches. So this skirt length, especially if you want to make exactly my own length, so just get off your band, then get 54 inches. The next thing is to take your hip measurement. This is on fold, and remember that we are adding extra 10 inches allowance for the ruffle, or you can add more than that because this is chiffon. It will not really stand like crepe, so you can add whatever allowance you want to add here. It depends on how full you want your ruffle to be. So I added extra 10 inches plus 1 inch folding allowance, making it 11 inches. So you just take the measurement all the way down. You are going to take it, if it's 20 inches total, you are taking that 20 inches all the way to the down part of the skirt. So this is chiffon. You know, chiffon can be funny at times. At times, like working with chiffon is not always funny and all that. So just make sure you have everything. Once you have it the way you want, you can just cut it out. Please, you are not taking your hip measurements now, just cut it out exactly. So the wideness of everything is like 20 or 23 inches. That is what you are going to cut, exactly 22 inches. You are not curving the waist or cutting the waist, just cut that straight line. Remember that you removed your 2 inches allowance to get your full length. So this is it. Chiffon is not always straight. It will come out somehow, especially if you are cutting it on the table, because assuming it's not for the tutorial, I would have cut it on the floor. But this is it. So you just have this. You are going to place it again to cut out exactly the same thing, but the only difference is just that you are going to add zipper allowance to the second one that you are going to cut out. So you place it to cut it. So this is it. I'll cut exactly the same thing, but this is for the back. You know, you have two pieces for the back, and you add 1 inch zipper allowance to the back part. So every other thing is equal, just the 1 inch zipper allowance, or 2 inches, or 1.5 inches zipper allowance. So once you have it, you just cut out exactly the same thing. thing to do after slitting it, after cutting it, to slit the zipper allowance and notch it. So you have two pieces for the back. This is it. So once you're done, look at what I have left. This cannot even give me the sleeve or the top, so I had to switch to another fabric. There's no magic, but I'll use this later because I've cut it already. I'll use it later to make something else, but for now this cannot give me anything, so I had to switch to another fabric. So here is the main fabric that I use, the main chiffon that I use. So this is what you have. The next thing is to join your zipper allowance and get your front pattern. Iron it out, iron the center part, iron it to get the middle part, the middle of the skirt. So you also join your zipper allowance. Please iron it out so that you get the line very well. So the next thing is to open your place your back pattern on the table, the right side facing down, then the wrong side facing up. Then you also place your front pattern. If you can see my own, the line is showing, but it's not really that visible. So the right side of the front will face up, then the wrong part will just face each other. Please, the right part of the back is facing down while the wrong part is facing up. Then the front will face up, the right part will face up, then the wrong part will face each other. Just pin it, pin this. You really need to pin it, because if you're working with what is it called, chiffon, it will be moving, to not just stay one place. So the best thing is to just pin it here, some here, and try to get the if you don't want the zip to be looking somehow, or to shift, or if you want it to be exactly where your zipper should be, then please make sure to pin it very well. Make sure to pin the center line, and make sure that you are touching the zipper part. If you are pinning the front part, make sure that you are touching it, and make sure that the line that you ironed out is matching with the zipper allowance. Just be very, very careful so that your zipper will not go one side and the front part will just go one side. So I decided to pin it, pin the center, so that it doesn't, even if it moves, it will not shake. So the next thing is to take your measurements like this. We are going to measure this as if we are making a butterfly dress. So the next thing is to get your waist measurement. Take your waist from that line. You start taking it from that line. So my waist is 8.5 inches. That is your lower waist. So on that line I placed it, then marked. Please, you place it on the middle line, then you place one on the middle line, then mark it on the seam allowance, the side that is seam allowance. That is where you are taking your measurement. So off to get your hip location, I removed 2 inches for the band to get my hip location, which is 8. So on that line again, I'll place my tape there, then mark out 8. Please look at mark out 11 inches for my hip. I also place 11, mark it out like that. Then so I'll draw the lines very well so that it will be visible. So the next thing is to take your hip down. You are not minusing anything. We are not doing pencil skirt. You can even, my hip is 11. I did not add any allowance to this. So my hip is 11. You can go down by 12 inches. You can mark 12 inches on the hemming line, so that you can walk freely. This will allow you to walk freely if you are not making yours to be short. So I marked out 11.5 down there. Instead of 11 inches, I marked that 11.5. If you don't want this to be really fitted on you, then you can add half inch. You can add half inch allowance, then so on the half inch. But I used my exact, though I later added half inch because it was looking somehow tight. So instead of 11 inches for my waist, for my hip, I used 11.5. Instead of 8.5 for my waist, I used what is it called, 11 inches. So that is just it. To just go and hold it the way it is. So this is what we're going to. So here I've gone ahead to join it. And I've attached one part of the string. Let me just open it up. So then join the zipper allowance and everything. So this is it. This is what I have. I've attached this part, if you can see. So what I did is that from this line now, for the we are going to make a space for the strap to pass, a space to pass the strap. So from this waistline, from the line, I'm going to come out by 1.25 inches. I'm going to take 1.25 inches round. I'll take it all the way from this place to the down part. 1.25 inches. You can use more than that, but 1.25 inches is okay. It's very okay. So I'll take it all the way down. Just take it down. So I'm taking it from here to the down part. So this is it. Please, once you're done joining it, make sure to hem this the down part, hem the two sides. Also, I'll show you. I've hemmed this part now, but I'll show you how you can. So once you have the lines this way, once you have it marked out like this, once you have it ready like this, you now divide it by two. Just get the midpoint. Mark the midpoint also. Also divide by that 1.25 by 2. Just get the midpoint and you're going to take it down. So once you stitch here, once you just stitch it with a straight stitch down to the hemming part, you also divide this point. You also stitch like leaving half inch here, half inch here, half inch here, half inch. So you are going to stitch straight also to that down part. So you should have one, two, three lines, three stitch lines. That is what I have here. One, two, three. That's where you are going to pass your strap. So this is it. I'll get the midpoint and stitch it down. Make sure you have half inch on both sides. So once you are done doing that, once you are done stitching it, you cut out your strap. My strap should be like 40 inches long. This depends on how much you want. Just straight one, 40 inches long. So I'll just do that and let you know. So once you are done doing that, the next thing is to attach your elastic. So you come to that, sorry, is to attach your waistband. So you come to this point now. So you come to your waist part where you've stitched already. That first line, that first your waistline part, you go down by half inch and notch. You notch it up to half inch. That is where to create a space to pass your this thing. So I will notch this place just up to half inch, just to separate your skirt from this root part. So I even notched more than. So you should have something like that. So you also notch this part also. That is where you're going to be attaching your band. So notch this part also. Just maybe half inch notching. I've notched more than that. So this is what you will have. Here is where you start passing your you start passing your this. Don't notch it the way I did. I just made a mistake, but it's okay. I'll correct it when I'm attaching the band. So you get the midpoint. You get your center front also. Your front center front. I get the center front. Here's my center front. So this is, so I'm not going to be making a shirt for myself. I'm just make a simple top that I can easily wear. So just cut your, in case you want to make a top like mine, just cut your basic top, like your normal basic bodies for your top. Get your top length. Mine is 26 inches long. So everything is just, I added 2 inches an hour. So here is the, so you place it like that. I want to make it a slant shoulder. So you place it like this. The back part, it will not have a zipper. So these are you're going to place it. The right side for the back is facing down, while the right side for the front is facing up. So I'll make sure that every other thing aligns very well. I use 3 inches neck width, then 3 inches depth. For the back, I used 1, but we are not going to be needing all that. So once you get it, this is my neck width. I notched it also. I notched the neck width. That is the 2 neck width. From this neck width now, I will check the length that I want. I'll check from the midpoint now. I'll determine how I want mine to fall. If I want it really open, I don't want it super open. I don't want it to be very, very open. So from this point now, from here now I'll go down by, from my shoulder line I'll go down by 5 inches or 6 inches. Let me do 5.5 because I don't want it to reveal much. I don't want it too down. So from this neck width now I'm going to connect slantly this way. So this way I'm going to connect this way to the left part. That's where I want like this. Please, the back and the front is placed together. You have to place them together. And remember that I didn't add a zipper allowance to this top, and I added extra 2 inches allowance so that it will be free. It can pass freely. I'll join it with half inch. So I'm making sure that everything stays put and everything comes out equal. So once I have what I want, I'll cut it out. I'm cutting the back and the front. The right side is for the back is facing down, while the right side is facing up. While the right side for the front is facing up, while the wrong part is facing down. That is how you achieve it both. So this is what I have. This is how it will look. So I will just turn this with a bias or the same fabric, then join the side. So for the sleeve, it depends on the kind of sleeve that you want. So I will do the ruching part and come back to show you what next to do. So once you have this, rubbish, I cut that. So here is the band that I'm going to be adding. My band is up to 60 inches long. Why is it that long? Because this is a chiffon, it's transparent. And once you iron an interface on it, it will be, that part will be showing. So what I did is that I measured a very long strap of 4.5 inches wide, 4.5 inches wide, and maybe 60 inches long. So what I'm going to fold it into two. Fold it into, because I want it to be thick. After folding it into two, then I'll get my 2 inches band. I'll fold it this way again.
Then this is how I'm going to be attaching it. I'll get the midpoint. I'll get the midpoint. So you, if after attaching it now, you notice that it came out really thick and all that. So it will give you what you want. So it will give you what you want. So this is, I just notch the midpoint. Then I'll get my skirt, the midpoint of my skirt. That is the center of my skirt. I notched it also. Then I'll place it. Make sure that you are holding the four parts, the four pieces together. Then I'll place it like this. I'll place it, use needle and hold it. When you get to this part that I mistakenly notched, don't open up your part like this. I went and notched where I'm not supposed to notch. So you just try your best to cover it. This is how it will go. You gave space so that you can easily pass your this thing around. So I'll pass it around and come back to show you the next thing to do.
So here I've attached the waistband, and I've also created the lines for the ruched parts. So this is what you will have. This is how it's going to look. So this is the line for the drawstring. So here is the line. I'm just trying to make a space for it to pass through. So if you are going to stitch that top part, just open it up that way, then stitch it. So the next thing is to use your safety pin and pass your strap. So you are going to start from one end, then bring it down from the other end. So this is how you are going to pass it through. That's why you created that two lines, for you to pass it out like that, to pass it that way. So I started from the down, then get to the up, pull it, make sure that you pull enough, then pass it through the other hole from down to up. So from up to down again. That is how you are going to create the two strap. So this is what you have when you are done. So this is our drawstring is ready, and the ruffle part is, and here is the ruffle part also. So you can just adjust it to any length that you want. So the next thing now is to attach your zip. Once you are done doing that, once you are done with your strap, you just attach your zip, and we are done with the skirt. So the skirt part is ready. Please make sure to hem the down part and the side, the ruffle part also. Make sure to hem it. So here is the top. I've hemmed the upper part. I just folded it once. I didn't like weave overlock it, or then after folding you just join the shoulder. Then the next thing now is to measure the sleeve. Just measure around your armhole. We are going to be using our normal bishop sleeve. Like, if you know, this is the sleeve that I'll be using. This is the pattern of sleeve that I've been using, and it works very well for any kind of puff sleeve or any balloon sleeve. Or so you just get your fabric. I still have enough fabric left. Get your fabric, get it fold it. So you just fold your fabric. Make sure to have your fabric unfold. The next thing is to determine your sleeve length. If you want yours, if you want to know what, I used 25 inches for my sleeve length, and I added 1 inch for elastic, because I'm going to be inserting elastic to the cuff part of the sleeve. So from that line now, I went down by 4 inches. Then I'm going to draw this. Please don't mind my standing position, is because of the way I'm standing, so there's no other method of cutting the sleeve. So the down part, you measure the wideness of the sleeve that you want to use. I used 17 inches wideness. On fold, I got 17 inches. So I'll connect from there now to that part. So our sleeve is ready. Just that simple. So if you don't want to use the slash and spread method for the bishop sleeve, you can just do it this method. You will still achieve the same thing. So you now mark out the armhole. You know that you are not creating armhole, so you just measure to mark out your armhole, then notch the place that you marked out. My armhole is 10.5, so I measured around, then I marked it out, then notched it also. So this is it for the sleeve. But remember that one side is off shoulder, then one side is shoulder. So I'm just going to cut exactly the same thing before cutting out the off shoulder part. So you just fold your fabric again, cut out exactly the same thing that you have. So once you have the two sleeves ready this way, you are going to remember that we marked out 5 inches for the off shoulder. So I'm going to remove 5 inches also from the sleeve, that is the off shoulder, just one sleeve, please don't cut it two. So I marked out 5 inches, then 1 inch for the elastic. I'm going to be attaching an elastic to the upper part and to the downside. So I removed the second sleeve to cut out the off shoulder sleeve. So I'm going to cut on that 4 inches line, because 1 inch is for the folding. So once you have it, you bring down your off shoulder part, your off shoulder, to mark out the armhole. So you just place it this way, place the armhole like this. You can use chalk to rule out the lines very well, or you can just cut it straight. So I'm just trying to get it that way, then I'll just use my scissors and cut it out. So that is the part that will go to the armhole part. So the other part will just be where you are going to insert your elastic. And that is it for the sleeve. Just hem the down part, insert your elastic, hem the other part. Then the off shoulder part is just your normal way of attaching your off shoulder. So that is it, guys.